successfully conducted webinar Be the Future of Cybersecurity, in which we have provided information towards recent and most famous cyber attacks and guided hundreds of attendees on how to secure their career in the cybersecurity. Attendees were really excited to know how to gain required skills and capabilities in cybersecurity. Remember this, choosing a right career path is a key of success. If you find this video useful, then please like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to press the bell icon for updates of upcoming videos. Stay safe, stay tuned. Thank you.
Welcome to the webinar. So, as you all know, today's topic is cyber attacks be the future of cybersecurity. At the very start, you won't know what do I mean by the word be the future of cybersecurity. But I'm sure while the end of the webinar, you would agree with this word called be the future of cybersecurity. Okay. So let's get started. Let me introduce my friend, philosopher guy called Raju. He will be with us throughout the webinar and we would learn more concepts with him with help of this guy. Okay. So Raju once thought it's a Saturday, let's go out and have some fun. Let's hang out with friends, eat food, and come back home. So he went out and he came back home. He was frustrated, he was tired, and he just wanted to lie on bed and relax for some time. But then he was wondering why he was not able to get inside the home. He tried opening the doors with his keys, but he was not able to open. What he thought is, why just not get inside in the home through windows or some other way? But then he was unable to go inside. But there was a guy sitting beside him, and he was looking at him, and he was thinking, he was just laughing and saying, "Hey, you cannot go inside just because I have locked your door." So our friend asked, why can't I go inside my home, and who are you to tell me this? I cannot go inside the home. So that guy said, I have locked your home, and if you want to try, you can try, but I have the keys only. If you give me some kind of money, then only then I will give you the keys and then you can go inside your home. So Raju thought, why this guy is having that keys which of my home, okay? So it's my home, key should be mine and I should open the door and I should get inside. But then this was not the case. Raju tried for some time, but he was not able to get inside the home. And then there was no option for our friend other than giving money, paying money, and then getting inside the home because he want to get inside the home, right? Everyone wants to get inside our home, right? So he paid money, and what happened is, as you can see in this image, he was just paying some money, but then the thief or the guy which was sitting and he robbed his wallet directly. It's funny, right? But then what happened is he got the keys and eventually he got inside the home. So what happened here? What just happened here, right? So if we see in IT field or in our technology world, this kind of things is happening, right? So what happens here is someday when you come back to your work or come back to your PC trying to get started with your work. So what happens is you get this kind of screen on your PC. Okay. So what it says is, hey, your PC is locked, and if you want to unlock your PC, you just have to pay $300 in Bitcoin, as you can see here. It is asking for payment, and once you pay this payment, and then only then you would be able to unlock the PC and get back to your work and get started with your work. Okay. So this is the case where we call it as a ransomware attack, actually. Okay. So in our cybersecurity field or in our technology field, in our IT field, we call it as a ransomware attack. So what happens here? It feels like it's filmy kind of stuff. It really happens in the world or not, in real life or not. But let me go through some of the real life example of this. Okay. So this is the first example which I'm going to show you. So there was a ransomware attack happened in one time. So almost 150 countries and over 3 lakh computers were affected by this ransomware attack. It means over 3 lakh computers were locked because of ransomware attack, and the attacker asked for $300 in Bitcoin to unlock their computers to get started back to the work. Okay. So the image which you saw just now and the image which is reflecting back of this slide is the actual real image what was seen on the computer screen of every one in this 3 lakh computers. Okay. So what just happened here? So let me tell you how this was happened and how this happened with them. Okay. So there was an email attachment sent to the user saying that, hey, you have some lottery, you have some offer, XYZ kind of stuff. Okay. So then what happened is they just clicked on that PDF or that attachment and they tried to see what is the offer, what is the lottery, or what is this XYZ kind of advertise. And they just read it and they've thought, hey, it's okay. And they just closed it and everything was fine. But then there was a virus attached to that attachment which got downloaded and installed when they clicked and downloaded the offer PDF. Okay. So what happened is when the virus got deployed, the attacker put the ransomware on this computer and then eventually he was able to lock the screen and lock the system of these users. Okay. So this attack was spreading over the world, and there was a situation where the users were not able to get rid of this other than paying $300 in Bitcoin. So there was a situation, we call it as like I'm facing like I'm just going to cry now because I don't have any other option. Okay. So we named it as a WannaCry ransomware attack. This is a well-known attack, happened over 150 countries and 3 lakh computers were affected. Okay. So there was a company called Colonial Pipeline. So Colonial Pipeline is like a East US based company, which is actually responsible for the refined oil flowage or refined oil transportation for petrol pumps, for industries, for refineries, XYZ kind of stuff, for getting back to their work or getting started with their production environment. Okay. So what just happened is once there was an attack, ransomware attack again on this company, and the attacker gang, which we recognized as dark side gang, asked for $4.4 billion in Bitcoin. Can you just imagine $4.4 billion? In our last case, it was just $300, but then it was a user. Now they have attacked the company itself, company servers itself, and they have asked a huge number of money, that is $4.4 billion. It's not a small money, right? But then these company researchers, cybersecurity experts, scholars, everyone tried to get their servers unlocked by this ransomware attack so that the pipeline would be open to work and all the flowage of the refined oil would start. Okay. But then this was not the case. They were not able to unlock their systems. They have no other option other than paying $4.4 billion in Bitcoins to get their servers back. Okay. So this is again one example of ransomware attack happened in the world in real life. Okay. So let's come back to our Raju. He is now back in the home. He is lied on his bed, and as he is a youngster like us, what we do very first is we just open up our phone and try to see a browse Instagram, Facebook, social media platform, and XYZ kind of stuff. Okay, so he was doing the same, and he was lying on the bed. But then what happened is what happened is that there was a update called, hey, you have a there was an alert called, hey, you have a software update. You just click here and get this updated download, and then you can update your software. Okay. So what our friend thought, since this looks legitimate and I'm like, he's a tech savvy kind of person, every youngster is a tech savvy kind of person, and they think is why can't I just download and install this update and try to see if I have new features I can show off with my friends, XYZ kind of stuff. Everyone thinks like this, right? So he thought, yes, I will update this and I will try to see what are the updates and what are the new features in this. So he clicked on that alert, and the files were downloading and it was getting updated. But then what happened is, after some time, there was some unusual activity happening on his phone. So what happened is his some of the photos got corrupted, some of the files got corrupted, even there was some messages sent across the social media platform to his friends and kind of stuff was happening. So Raju, our friend, figured it out that there is something wrong with my phone and my phone is now hacked. Okay. So he figured it out, that is hacked. But then how did this happen? He just downloaded an update, right? And he didn't did anything. So Raju was actually affected by an attack called supply chain attack. So let me explain what and how is this happening. Okay. So when Raju clicked on that update, which was given by his mobile phone manufacturing company, XYZ manufacturing company, there was a malicious virus or malicious code attached to that update, and which even the manufacturing company of his phone was unaware. Okay. So Raju, our friend, and even everyone will think like this is actually given by the manufacturing company or the actual OEM, the legitimate company which owns this gadget, has given the update, right? So he thought it's genuine, it's legitimate. Why just not click and update and get started with that, right? But then that was not the case. There was a virus attached to it, and which got executed, and by which the attacker has all the rights on his phone. He has rights to execute ransomware. He has rights to encrypt his phone. He has rights to send messages. He has rights to do anything because he has the access of the phone. Now, these things can be happened on phone, but then this update can be any update. It can be a software update, it can be an app update, it can be a like a Windows update, it can be anything, it can be any update. Okay. So again, we feel like this sounds again like a filmy kind of stuff. Is this really happening in this real life, right? Everyone would ask this question. But let me tell you, let me go through some of the example where supply chain attack was happened on companies. Okay. So there was a company called SolarWind. Very funny thing happened, and very big thing happened here is there was a supply chain attack, of course, and let's see how it happened actually. So there was a email sent to all employees of this solar wind company saying, hey, you have an Adobe update. Okay. So Adobe, let me explain what is Adobe. Okay. So Adobe is nothing but like a PDF viewer, video editor kind of software which everyone uses commonly and corporate on in day-to-day life. Okay. So it's very useful tool actually, software. So what everyone thought is this is an update given by Adobe itself, right? So the email was looking like legitimate, but then it was not, as we know. So what just happened is everyone just clicked on that update. The update got downloaded, the app got downloaded, the exe got downloaded, and they just installed that update. And they thought, why should not we go for this update? Because this might have some new features, good features, which we can apply on our day-to-day life work, and then our work may go ease, right? But then this was not the case. They started updating, but then there was a virus attached to it which got downloaded. Okay. So what just happened here? If you see, when they clicked on that update, the update was looking legitimate. Even the update was from the legitimate OEM, legitimate supply company, right? It was from Adobe, right? It was a legitimate. Everyone would think like it was legitimate. But then what happened here is the update was actually having a malicious code, malicious exe, malicious binaries, malicious script attached to it, and by which the attacker was able to hack the systems. Attacker was able to get the access, get the controls of the systems where this update was installed. Okay, so it took like 19 months. Can you imagine? Like it's 19 months to detect when that this attack was happened on XYZ systems or XYZ desktop, laptop, mobile, or anything it can. So 19 months means what? Like just just an example. I just downloaded that update today. Okay. And I updated it. Okay. But then what happened is after 19 months from today, I got to know that I was hacked by some of the hackers, and something was happened back 19 months. Okay. So it's like, can you just imagine how much data and how much time the attacker was inside your PC, inside your desktop, inside your laptop, XYZ, right? But then how did this happen? So this was like big thing, and it was like the biggest attack and well-known attack in the cybersecurity history. When the president of Microsoft said that this is the most sophisticated attack happened ever. Okay, so there was a guy in the world, and he was just a kid actually. He was not more young. He was a young guy. He was not aged. But then what he thought is this type of attack is happening over the world, right? So why can't I try to execute some script, try to write some script and hack some of the most secure thing? So he just sat and thought, what is the most secure thing in this world? Okay. So at the very first thing, what we think is, uh, what we think is the U.S. Army, right? U.S. Army is the most superpower in the defense field, right? So he thought, why just not try to hack the US Army, US defense? Okay. And in technology aspect, in the technology field, we know that the most superior and superpower and superior organization is NASA, right? So he just thought to write a script to hack NASA and US Army. He thought, I'm a kid, I'm a new to this attacking field, so my code won't execute and I'm sure it won't hack. Okay. But then somehow this script was executed successfully and there was an attack on NASA and US defense actually. So this guy was just 15 years old and named Jonathan James, which wrote this script, and by which about 3 weeks NASA servers were shut down, and there was a loss of $14,000 to NASA. Okay, so this is again a big amount, and this was not today. This was not. This is not a case of now. It's back 20-25 years back. It's somewhere around late 90s kind of thing. Okay, so what just happened here is he tried to run that script and he was successful by running that script. Okay, so in the hackers world, in the attackers world, they gave this kid as a Hall of Fame. They recognized him and they gave them a Hall of Fame. So what is a Hall of Fame? Okay, so let me explain you Hall of Fame in like in an easy manner. So you might have seen in your college or school days that there was a wall in your school or in your institution saying that a XYZ person was selected to Ranji or was first in the district level or was selected as a team member or as a captain of XYZ sports in district level or state level or national level. So for them, that is a proud moment, that is a fame moment. They they write down that kids or that alumni or that student's name on the wall and they say this is our wall of fame. So we are proud to have this kind of students in our institution, right? So similar kind of stuff is happening here. So they name it as a hall of fame. Since the hackers community don't have a physical institution or physical these things, it's not an institution, of course. But then they they gave this kid as a hall of fame. It's hall means it's nothing but like a broch kind of stuff. Okay. So what happened here is this was an attack and almost $14,000 were was there to NASA. Okay. So let's see what is happening over the world. Like if you just imagine, if I have a company and if I see that this type of attacks are happening over the world, I would think, what if next target is my company, or if my laptop or my desktop gets attacked by attacker or gets hacked by an attacker. Okay, so it's a fear, right? There was a fear and all in the organization across the world, and everyone was in fear that if what if I'm the next target, I cannot pay $4.4 billion, or I cannot pay $300 as an individual in bitcoins. Like $300 is not a good, it's not a small amount for an individual, right? But then There were some experts who were actually protecting this organization and protecting the organization from this fear. Okay, so if you see in this data, there was a rise in the demand of this security expert, security specialist, cyber security expert, of course, to protect their organization, to protect themselves, to protect their PCs, to protect their laptops, XYZ. Okay. So the blue bars which you see, it's the demand which is getting raised from 2017 to 2021. And the orange bars is the supply which we have. Okay. If you see, every year the supply is less and the demand is increasing day by day. And then if you see, this gap between every year is what we can say the opportunity to get inside this field. If you see, this is the gap, this is the need which need to be fulfilled. And if there is a need, there is an opportunity, right? And this need should be fulfilled, right? And we have to fulfill this need because the company needs, and there is actually a need for cybersecurity experts. So if you see in like a career perspective, there is a big chance to get in this field, and this is the golden opportunity and golden era to kickstart your career in cybersecurity field. Okay, so and how how an expert or how an cybersecurity specialist can protect the organization or any of the users or any of the systems from attackers. Okay, so I will tell you some of these fields, but I'm telling some of this field and not all, but I'm covering the most important fields here. So I will go through one by one, but these are not only the field, but there are many fields. Okay, so there is one department called Security Operations Center. Okay. So as you can see in this image, there are some police or detective kind of stuff, people looking to a hacker and saying, and they are like doing like, I am from CID kind of stuff. It's happening here. Okay. So as you can see, as you recognized, so this Security Operations Center is nothing but like a police kind of stuff. So they actually protect the organization, protect the environment, protect the servers, protect the systems from attackers by monitoring and looking after the activities happening on the servers. Okay, so they work 24 by 7. They keep an eye on every small activities happening on servers, happening on systems, which organization needs. Okay, on the system where the organization needs. Okay, so there are some sub teams by which they play this role, and this field called Security Operations Center is recognized. Okay, so there is one sub team called Red Team. So what this team does is, this actually does a drill kind of stuff. You might have seen in your day-to-day life that if you if you are traveling, you might have seen someday that on the platform, on the railway stations or on the metro station, you might have seen some of the army guys or the police who are running here and there, enacting as like there is a bomb somewhere and there is some terror attack happened on the station, and there are dogs running here and there. They are smelling and they are trying to enact what would happen and what how would we react if there is a terror attack happen, right? Similar kind of stuff happens here. So this red team attacks the network actually, and they try to see how deep we can go and how deep an attacker can get inside your organization and harm your organization. Okay, so this is what the role of red team is. And blue team is exactly opposite to this. Blue team actually tries to defend, tries to protect from these kind of attacks happening by red team, and they try to fix this. They try to alert the users, alert the servers, saying that SOS, these things are happening. And let me tell you, this drills which is happening by red team and blue team is not known. It's not like it's a planned, it's unplanned. It's like what is happening over the organization. Like you might have seen, there are some places, there are some societies, there are some complex, commercial complex, wherein they just put an alarm saying that it's fire, it's fire, it's fire, and they do a drill, and no one knows that it's real thing happening or it's a drill. Okay, but then only the top management and people, the most important people, know that this is a drill. Okay, so this is what red team and blue team is about. Forensic, as the name suggests, the forensic team is what you get to know. Okay, so if you see in real life, forensic is what we know is if there is a murder, or if there is a something terror attack happened over there, this forensic people come and try to get some traces, try to get some fingerprints and kind of stuff, and try to locate from where the attack was happened, who was responsible for this terror attack or XYZ kind of stuff. Similar way in our field also, in cybersecurity field also, forensics happens the same. So what forensic team does is they try to trace the IP address, they try to trace the location from where was the attacker, from where this hack happened, and who was behind this, which was the PC or XYZ kind of stuff. They also trace, they also see for footprints and kind of stuff. Okay. So this is more or less same what we see in real life forensic team. Okay. So there is one more team called incident response team. Incident response team is like first person when an SOS is there, like when there is an alert saying, hey, these things are happening. So this team actually immediately comes into picture, and they try to fix, they try to see what are the incidents, they try to alert, they try to fix it, they try to prevent it from these attackers. Okay, so this is the most important, and this field is like emerging and need, and this field works for 24 by 7, 365 days in any organization. This is the most important field. We can say that security operations center or SOC team is like a brown colored police which we see in our city. Okay, though they protect the attackers, they enact like same what we see in real life, right? If we can compare it like the thief with the hackers in technology world. Okay, so there is next what I'm going to cover is network operations center. So network operations center is responsible, this team is responsible for all the servers, all the components, server components, like we can say switches, routers, the internet, etc., etc., to work, to to be in place 365 days and 24 by 7. Okay, so it means this team also work for 365 days and 24 by 7. Okay, so what does this team does? So as it is mentioned here, this is responsible for administration, manage, and control and monitor the network. Okay, network components actually. So if we see, if I want to have a internet connection in my home, right? I look after some routers, I look after some internet service providers saying that, hey, I have 2, 3 laptops, or I have 2 laptops, and I have my phone, my father's phone, my younger brother, sister's phone, and my mom's phone. Overall, we have 10, 12 gadgets in our home by which we on which we need an internet connection, right? For that, we need to have a what we can say router, we need to have a good internet connection, we need to figure out what speed we want, XYZ kind of stuff, right? So just imagine, if you want to run a company, if you want to run that means if you want to run a company, that means you need n number of servers, you need n number of you need n number of other components to run on internet and this kind of stuff, right? So this team is responsible to get these components on track and to see whether these all components are working active and live 24 by 7, 365 days. Okay, if there is something down, this team again gets to an alert, gets to an SOS kind of stuff, and they try to fix what is happening over there. Okay, so this is also an again important field of cybersecurity, which is responsible for the servers to be up. If the servers are not the attackers cannot access the servers, but then the production or the organization may fail uh, to get the proceed to get their work okay, to get their work done. Okay, so the next field what I'm going to explain here is VAPT. We call it as vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. So let's just see what this word says, like vulnerability assessment and penetration testing one by one. Okay. So vulnerability is nothing but a misconfiguration or flaw or some mispolicies which we have made on your systems or on anything on your firewall on XYZ kind of stuff by which by exploiting which, by breaking which, an attacker can gain access of your systems or your computers or anything. Okay. So if you see in real life, let's say you buy a home, okay, you have some windows, like two, three windows, okay. So what you do is you just put a window, say a glass window, okay. And then you just not just put a glass window, you put a grills on that, right? To get protected from thief, right? If you don't put that grill, what will happen is the thief or the robber would just break the glass and get inside your home and rob it, right? Or rob your money or XYZ, right? But then protecting this, if you don't put a grill, it's a vulnerability. Right? If you put a grill, it's good, right? So that is what a vulnerability is. And vulnerability assessment is nothing but grading, giving marks, giving percentage, like how much vulnerable this is, like 10% vulnerable, 100% vulnerable, or XYZ, 8% vulnerable. This vulnerability is outstanding, or it's not secured, XYZ kind of stuff. So that is what vulnerability assessment is. Penetration testing is what, let me explain you in other terms, right? If you buy a lock for your home, and if you, let's say you're going out for a picnic kind of stuff, okay, so what you just do, you lock all the doors and you try to pull and see if the locks are proper or not. If I'm pulling and the lock got open or not, we try this thing, right? So this is what we try to investigate, or we try to actually validate the vulnerability, how vulnerable it is. So this is what a penetration tester does. So penetration tester, what they do is they just try to break the vulnerability, or they just try to break the environment in in a manner to actually see what level security is there in the company, or the organization or the environment. Okay. So this thing is happened by three ways: black box, white box, and gray box. Okay. So what black box testing happens? So so this attack is like, this testing is like what an hacker would have done, right? It's actually the same. So what happens is the testing person who is doing this black box testing doesn't know what is the attack, or what is the organization for, what is the name of the organization, where are the servers located, is it on first floor, second floor, third floor, or is it on room number 1, 3, XYZ kind of stuff. He doesn't know anything. And he is actually authorized to hack this environment from the management or from the top management of the organization. He does it ethically, okay. So so he doesn't have any kind of information by itself, by given by the organization, and he tried to attack. So it's more or less as the same what an attacker would have tried to do, okay. And white box testing is like exactly opposite to it. So this tester person knows what is the organization about, where are the server located, in when, what room number it is located, how can I get inside that room, XYZ kind of stuff. Okay. And gray is nothing but mix of these two. Okay. So if so this is what we do in vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. Let me tell you again that this is the most important, and this is a highly paid job in cybersecurity perspective, in cybersecurity field. Okay, this is the most important field which we have in cybersecurity. Okay, so there is one more field I'm going to cover is cloud security. So if you see, what is happening is there are some companies called AWS and Azure what they do is they actually provide servers over the internet. Okay, so why they do provide this, right? So what was happening is there are some small companies who are just starting up their business, or not all companies can afford a place, afford a specific room to actually locate their servers, to buy hardware and to keep at that place. And they cannot afford to buy bigger servers and bigger. It's a big amount. It's costly, and to maintain it is also next challenge. Okay, so what happens is they are actually these companies, what AWS and Azure do is they provide this kind of servers over the internet. So what they do is they have their physical servers and they provide server as a service to over the internet. Okay, so this small organization who cannot afford this physical servers, they just go to this company and buy the servers. Okay, so you can buy one server, two server, XYZ kind of stuff over the internet. Okay, so if you want to access this server, you just have to browse it over any browser, any web browser. So it means what it means. It means that this server is accessible over the internet worldwide. Right? Okay, that means it is vulnerable. Any attacker, anyone who has the actual credentials for this, okay, who has the username and password can log into this server, right? So protecting this kind of servers is also a big challenge. So this is what is done by the this field called cloud security. Okay, this team called cloud security does this. Okay, so they protect this kind of servers from thief, from leakage, from detection kind of stuff. Okay, so there is one more I have mentioned here is G Suite. So everyone use G Suite. Even I use, you all use it, but then you don't know you use it. So you might have seen that you might have used OneDrive, Google Drive, or Photos, Google Photos kind of stuff. Okay. So what we do that we just put our personal photos or PDF or some personal data on Drive or on on Google Photos just because we don't have a good storage on our phone. Buying a good storage, buying a pen drive, buying a memory card would cost something, but then we get 15 GB storage or XYZ number of storage for free if you have a Gmail account or XYZ kind of stuff, right? So there also it is actually stored on cloud, right? It's actually stored on internet. Okay. So protecting these personal data is also covered under this field, under this team, cloud security, called cloud security. Okay. So there is one more field called compliance auditing. If you see what, if you have seen, right, in our school days, if you see there are like principals saying that, hey, there are some external people coming to our school from university or some XYZ organization. They will grade us, they will grade our school, they will grade our discipline, they will grade our teachers and XYZ, right? And then you have to behave like a good boy or good girl, and you have to be the best of what you are at that time, right? So they are just like a investigator kind of stuff, coming and grading your people, process and technology, right? So similar thing is happening here. What this compliance auditing people does is they come to your organization, they see what is the awareness among your employees. Do they know which link to be clicked, which link to not to be clicked, and do they aware of, are they aware of cybersecurity attacks happening over the world? Are they aware of cybersecurity? Are they aware of cyber attacks or XYZ? Even the even they actually validate the process and technology aspect. They validate whether the servers are protected, whether there is proper protection enabled on the server or not, whether the policies are correctly tuned, whether the policies are actually working good or not. Okay, and they are configured in right way or not. Okay, so this is what compliance auditing people do. They grade, they make a report, and they provide it to the top management done, and actually then they decide what are the fields wherein we have to secure it. Okay, so I have these are what I I was I was going to cover. So how can one get into cybersecurity field? Okay, so if you see, there is no such course called BSc cybersecurity or MSc cybersecurity, at least in India. There are this kind of course outside India, but then at least in India we don't have this course. So it's a good opportunity to get inside this field and get your career started in cybersecurity. It's like high time, it's golden era for cybersecurity career enthusiast. Okay, so if you want to get inside cybersecurity, you should be enthusiastic, you should be ambitious, and the most important is you should have an interest in this. If you don't have interest, you won't succeed in this field, right? That is this is like the important part. What every field should have, everyone should have interest. And the basic in in like our study perspective, if in the basic thing in our study perspective is graduate. You should be a graduate to get inside this field. Okay, so we as a Vinca provide this all trainings, and not only this training, but then we ourselves have SOC team, NOC team, VAPT team, auditing team, consulting team, all cloud team. We have all the teams which I have mentioned here in our company, and we protect the other companies, other organizations. Okay, so here you not only learn what is cybersecurity, how and XYZ kind of stuff, but you get chance to get on board and to see what is actually happening in real life and how we protect, how we work in soft, VAPT auditing and consulting. Okay,